Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's presentation on the theme of child coaching. We will start in about 3 to 4 minutes. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the online presentation on the theme of child coaching. I'm very happy that you are able to join us today. My name is Maryke Smulders, and I will be leading today's session. Please feel free to switch on your video if you are able. Also take note that this session will be recorded and it will be broadcasted live on our Facebook page, on the Facebook page of and I also want to welcome those who are joining from Facebook as well. Very happy to have you here today. I'm a child therapist with Relaxation, and I specialize in play therapy. I love working with families and with children, and child coaching is one of the play-based interventions that I use when working with children. So today's discussion and presentation will be all about child coaching. And we will look at a couple of tools and a couple of things that we can use when working with children. But before we dive into the theory, I first of all want to get your opinion and ask you 2 questions. So what I would like you to do is to go to the above website. The link will be posted in the chat box. My colleague Luby, she is responsible for all technical matters, so she will guide us through the technical platform. But so please press on that link, go to that link that appears in the chat box, and then you will be taken to a bar like this. Now, once you reach this bar, I would like you to, let me just put this on top. There's a code at the top of the screen, and you can enter the code into that bar. And then I would like you to answer the following question for me. So what are your expectations for today? You can either use your smartphone or you can use your laptop, but you can navigate to the link www.menti.com and enter the code. And then you can answer the question that's on the screen. What are your expectations for today? All right, so I see that there are some answers popping on the screen. I'm looking to learn a lot. I want to discuss this topic, or I have no expectations. That's also fine. No expectations mean that you might be open to just learn or to observe or to just participate in any way. All right, let's see if other people can also submit their answers to the question. What are your expectations for today? All right. I see that the meter is running. Okay. All right. So definitely strongly agree that people are looking forward to learn more about this topic and also want to discuss this topic as well. All right. So you can just fill in your answer, what you would like to take away from today's presentation. All right, so I guess let's move on to the next question. So the first one was just to get a sense of the room, the mood in the room. What are your expectations for today? And if we move on to the second question. All right, so the second question that I would like you to look at is, what is your life motto? It can be anything. It can be a short phrase or a quote or words of encouragement that you have received or that you have given to someone else. I just want to get a feel of what drives you, what motivates you, and if there is a life motto that you have. And like I said, it can be a short phrase, it can be a quote, or it can be any words of encouragement that you have given or received in the past. So let's submit our answers and let's see what pops up on the screen. Oh, I see. Enjoy the little things in life. Yes, that's a good life motto, of course. Not taking the little things for granted. I always enjoy this quote, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. So let me just submit my answer. For those who just joined us, please feel free to go to the above mentioned link and the link in the chat box and to submit your answer to this question. What is your life motto? All right. Live life to the fullest. Wow, that's a great one, of course. Live life to the fullest. Never give up until my good is better and my better best. Oh, fantastic. The one that I submitted, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end. All right, to learn forever. I like that one. Everything in moderation. Yes, great life motto. Right. Let's see who else can submit a life motto or words of encouragement that they have received or given to someone else. And what's nice about these mottos is it really drives you, it really encourages you. Or whenever you are experiencing something, that's challenging, you can always revert back to this sort of a mantra or this motto, like, okay, live life to the fullest, or everything will be okay in the end. Right. Okay. Thank you for sharing, guys. It's wonderful to see your answers. I'm going to revert back to my presentation now. But thank you for submitting your answers, your expectations that you have of today, and of course, sharing a bit of the words of encouragement that you have received or have given to someone else. Right, so the outline of today's presentation is we are going to look at child coaching in more detail. What is it? When is it helpful? We will look a bit at the process, and then we will dig a bit deeper into coping tools. What are coping tools, and how can children really use them in their daily lives? And we will also look at a couple of play-based techniques that you can use during child coaching. We will also take a look at what to expect when taking your child to child coaching, and there will be an opportunity for questions and discussion as well. Now, I want to pose you another question. What comes to mind when you think about child coaching? So please feel free to unmute yourself, to switch on your video, and just share what comes to mind when you think about the word, what is child coaching really? Are you familiar with it? Have you heard of it before? And what image does it bring to your mind? So please feel free to either share in the chat box or to unmute yourself and share what comes to mind. All right, does anybody have an idea? Oh, okay, I see there's one in the chat box. I think it's about coaching my child and getting the best out of life, how to be a success. Yes. Another one, helping children work through their problems. Of course, definitely. That's also very much a part of child coaching, right? When I hear the word child coaching, I see an umpire or I see a coach on a playground or on a playing field. And I have this image of somebody who's blowing a whistle and trying to direct the players on the sport field to go into a certain direction. So that's the image that pops up in my mind when I think about child coaching, or somebody who really guides you or try to help you with something, or to show you, okay, this strategies you need to use when we play against this team. But yes, thank you for sharing. It's about coaching your child to get the best out of life. Coaching is helping them to plan, in essence, to guide them a bit, and help them to work through their problems. Those are wonderful answers. Anybody else who would like to share? Maybe switch on their video or unmute themselves. Please feel free to share your thoughts on what you think child coaching is.
Maryke?
Yes. Hi,
Sorry,
Laura.
let me turn on my mic and my camera as well. I think it's equipping children with skills to overcome challenges.
Yes.
So maybe an adult, or let me say an adult, or maybe somebody older that's helping or equipping children with the skills that they need.
Yes, definitely. Equipping them with skills, of course, guiding them. It's a way of supporting a child, really like a coach, somebody who shows you what direction to go into, but works together with you and helps you to rediscover, okay, what do I need? What do I want? Where am I going? So that's definitely, yeah, the image that pops up when it comes to child coaching. Thanks for sharing, Lauren. So indeed, if we look at child coaching, it is a positive motivational approach. It is a way of working with children that helps them to create a bit of awareness within themselves, of their emotions and their behavior. It's like Lauren said, it's a way of equipping them with the necessary skills that they need to overcome the challenges in their lives. The aim is to really help a child to unlock his or her inner strengths, potential, and qualities in order to solve the problems that they face in their everyday lives. It encourages skills development and the practicing of new behavior in a safe setting through the use of play techniques in combination with psychoeducation. It helps a child to really develop those crucial skills and help them to solve their problems and to develop their problem-solving abilities further. It helps them to build resilience and confidence, and it can help them also to express themselves a bit better and communicate more effectively with their world. Now, the emphasis of child coaching is that the answer and the solution to a challenge lies within the child, and the child has the inner strength to come up with the solution. So it's very much solution focused. And the idea is that the child can develop the skills to solve their problems on their own. But of course, take into account that a lot of circumstances are out of our control and some problems cannot be solved. Things happen that are outside our realm of control. Just think about COVID-19, the COVID-19 pandemic, or when parents are being separated or getting a divorce. That is something which is out of a child's control. And how could they really solve that problem? So the expectation is not to solve the big problems of the world, but rather a way of helping a child to look at their challenges, the challenges that they experience, and becoming aware of the fact that you can take control over your thoughts and the way you choose to react, deal with, and cope with your challenges. So it's rather helping a child to develop a positive outlook on life. The child is motivated to set goals for themselves and are encouraged to take the necessary steps to achieve the goals. Now, the coach can help to guide the child, but the child ultimately takes the responsibility to achieve the goals that they set for themselves. Of course, parents are also very much a part of this child coaching process. They need to support the child and help the child to accomplish and reach the goals that they set for themselves. Sometimes kids also get homework during child coaching, things that they need to actively work on. And the parents are also responsible to really motivate and help children to do that as well. Now, the focus of child coaching is not on the problem or the problem behavior, but it's rather the focus is rather on finding a solution to the situation, and that the solution lies within the child. The child has the ability to come up with a solution for their problem. One of the most important things that child coaching also focuses on is building a child's confidence and building a strong sense of self. The child's interests are very much important. And the child is really encouraged just to be themselves. And we look at, okay, what is going well at home? What's going well at school? What's going good? And we just build on that. And that gives a child more confidence, and it enables them to rediscover their own qualities and potential and strengths, and ultimately gives them more confidence if we can build on the already existing skills that they have. Now, why do we use a play-based approach when working with children? Now, I quickly just want to touch on the 6 benefits of play. Now, play isn't just all fun and games. It's also a very important teaching tool. Through play, kids can learn how to interact with others, and they can develop critical lifelong skills. Now, the 6 benefits of play is, of course, the physical benefit, cognitive benefit, communicative benefit, creative, social, and emotional benefits. Now, if we look at the physical benefits, when a child is playing outside, they are actively running around, active play, catching a ball. It helps kids with coordination, balance, developing gross big motor skills, and spending their natural energy, which promotes better eating and sleeping habits, and of course, just contributes to the overall health. So that is why physical play is very important. Cognitive play, we can see that children learn to think, read, remember, reason, pay attention through play. They learn new things. They learn how to solve problems when they are playing with something. They learn how to discover their world or how to make sense of it. When building a tower, they realize that, okay, I have to position a block over here and a block over here in order for this tower to be stable and not tumble over. So it's a critical way for children to learn more about their world and to make sense of their world. The creative benefits, of course, is when children develop their imagination, when they think out of the box, when their imaginations run wild, they can create new worlds and form unique ideas and solutions to challenges. It's also a way of expressing themselves when they, take part in a creative activity. And really, when they play and they are able to be creative, it really helps them to come up with unique ideas. The communication benefits of play is when children play, when they play with others, when they play in a group, they learn how to exchange thoughts, information. They learn about social cues, non-verbal cues. They learn about emotions of others and how to really engage with others. If we look at the social aspect of play, the social benefits, when a child plays in a group or plays with others, they learn how to negotiate group dynamics, how to work together, collaborate, compromise, and deal with others' feelings. There's also a sense of building empathy when you are socially involved in a group when you play. And then, of course, the emotional benefit is children learn to cope with their emotions like fear, frustration, anger, aggression in a situation that they can control. And they can practice empathy and understanding. Now, we also know that play is the natural language of the child. It's how they express themselves, it's how they discover their world, it's how they make sense of their world, is through playing. It is non-threatening, it is familiar to a child, and it's also very much relaxing. And that is why we use play-based interventions when we work with children, or a play-based approach. Now I would like to tell you a story of Mr. Sharp. I'm going to switch on my video and I am going to tell you a little story that I use when coaching kids. It's a story that I've learned from Dr. Kirsten DeToy. She's a play therapist, worked with children. And this is something, a little technique that she developed, which I think is very simple to use, but it really helps to engage with a child and to visually display and bring about a message. So I'm going to tell you the story of Mr. Sharp. Now, I'm first of all going to draw Mr. Sharp on my finger. So there you see, this is Mr. Sharp. All right. So Mr. Sharp was out canoeing one day on Lake Kariba. And then suddenly the weather changed. What was once a lovely sunny day became very stormy in a way. The wind was blowing. The tides were changing. And the waves all of a sudden became very rough. suddenly a big wave came and crashed against Mr. Sharp's boat. And it turned his boat upside down. Oh no, yelled Mr. Sharp. He was very scared and sad. What can I do? What can I do? He yelled. And then he remembered, I have to make a plan. So Mr. Shark called on his fish friends for help. Help me, my fish friends. We have to make a plan. And the fish came swimming. They heard his voice and they said, what can we do, Mr. Shark? How can we help you? And Mr. Shark said, I have a plan. I am going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle my body, and you can give me a push, and then whoosh! All of a sudden, his plan worked. Mr. Shark's boat was turned the right side up again. And he was so happy. And he said, thank you, my fish friends. And he quickly paddled back to the safety on shore. Now, after I tell this story to a child, we usually draw a drawing that illustrates the lessons that we have learned from this story. Now, the moral of the story is to make a plan. Now, when life gets tough, when you experience a storm in your life, when the waves are so big you don't know what's going to happen and it feels like it's totally going to overwhelm you, what can you do? And so the absolute moral of this story is to encourage kids to think like Mr. Sharp, to make a plan when something happens. So we would draw an outline of the child's hand, and then we would draw Mr. Sharp and his fish friends, and we would draw his canoe, and we would, draw the smiley face on the paper. And then we said, okay, then we would explore. So what did Mr. Sharp do when he encountered this storm and when his boat flipped upside down? And then you can engage with the child and really think, okay, what did he do? He stopped, he asked for help, he thought about what to do next. So you can write down together with the child, you can write down, okay, what did Mr. Sharp do? Or you can personalize it and ask, okay, but what would you do if you experience a problem? Or if you don't know what to do, if you have a storm in your life, or if something happened, what can you do? What plan can you make? And then together with the child, you can write down a couple of things in the fingers of the hand drawing and think of, okay, what can you do when you feel sad? How can you make yourself feel better again? And as you can see on this picture, there's also 4 basic emotions that we see. We see a happy face, we see a very angry face, we see a scared face, and somebody who's very sad. So this is also a way of engaging a child into talking about emotions, drawing the different emotion faces, and also helping the child to identify with Mr. Sharp. Okay, but when his boat capsized and he was underwater, how did he feel? He was very scared and he was very sad. And what did he do? He made a plan and he wiggled his body and he asked for help, and whoop, he popped the right side up again. And so then he was very happy again. So it's a simple way of talking about emotions and trying to identify the emotions in the story with Mr. Sharp. But of course, with the moral to always make a plan. So child coaching can be helpful when a child has a low sense of self, when they have low self-esteem or low confidence. Children who are very shy, timid, don't know how to assert themselves or find it difficult to respect or set boundaries, when they experience problems in their social relationships, maybe at school or at home or with their siblings, when they find it challenging to express their emotions in a safe way, or when a child is a victim of bullying, or if the child himself or herself is displaying bullying behaviors. So it can be very helpful to develop those crucial social and emotional skills as well when you take your child to child coaching. The child coach can help the child to gain new insights and skills that can support the child in his or her process. We play out different scenarios, we do role plays, we play with puppets, and this provides opportunity for the child to learn more about their own behavior, to learn about my behavior, and also help the child to get new insights as to what they are doing, what they are thinking, and how they are acting. The child coach can also help the child to gain awareness of the self, like I've mentioned, and focus on what is working well and build on that. The coach can help the child to rediscover their own strengths, their own qualities, their talents, and to develop confidence and a stronger sense of self. And it will help them with their ability to solve their problems. Now, the different play materials and the different forms of play that we use during child coaching can be divided into different groups. So there's creative play, W play, dramatic play, assessment, and relaxation play. And these play materials, in essence, become the words that children use to tell their stories or to play out different scenarios or help a child to project their feelings onto the play situation or onto the toys or onto the playing activity. Now, if we look at creative play involves playing, for example, with clay or drawing or painting or building with wooden blocks, things like that, making a collage. That is creative play, something that really stimulates you in a creative way. It helps you to ventilate your feelings. Now, W play helps a child to develop new insights and work through their feelings. And materials that can be used are, for example, books, magazines, diaries, or making a life book, also making a collage, looking at an emotional barometer. So it's more visually oriented. Dramatic play has various functions, such as the remodeling of the family life, expression of aggression, or playing out certain feelings. And that can involve things like, of course, playing with puppets, as you see on the screen, or playing with a dollhouse. And it really helps a child to project and to play out certain scenarios or to practice new skills. Now, relaxation play is aimed at reducing the child's tension and to open them up to coaching. And it also helps to build the relationship as well. And so you can think of things like playing with a musical instrument or building a puzzle, doing a different sort of games, playing different games or finger painting. It's all very relaxing for a child. And assessment play is used to examine the child's skills, their phase of development. Do they have any feeling language or an emotional vocabulary? And this form of play can include multiple games like playing Uno or playing with wooden blocks as well. It's just to assess the child's process. Now, if we look at the child coaching process in itself, the first step would be to build a relationship. And of course, if there's a trusting relationship, the child will feel safe and the child will feel more inclined to share their thoughts, their feelings. During this building of the relationship, the coach also does a bit of assessment and observation and really gain a bit of insight into the child's temperament type. So you can see whether the child is a bit more directive or interactive, supportive or corrective. Is this child fast-paced or slow-paced? Is this child very task-oriented or people-oriented, relationship-oriented? Is the child an introvert or an extrovert? How does this child react? How does this child follow rules and instructions? Can they make choices? So during this first step, we do a bit of assessment and try to identify, not placing a child into a box, of course, and saying, oh, this child has this temperament type, but it gives a bit of insight to the coach as well. And after the coaching process, the coach can also relay this back to the parents and say, okay, your child is very much relationship oriented, very sociable, and reacts and responds to rules or discipline in this way. And so it gives a parent a bit more insight into their child's functioning and into their child's personality and the way that they react and respond to things. And you can also help the parent then to gain a better understanding, but also help to adjust their approach when disciplining or when engaging with their child. It can also enhance the parent-child relationship if the parent has a bit more insight into their child's specific personality and temperament type. The second thing that we look at or that we work at during the child coaching process is, of course, emotional awareness. I will talk about that briefly in a little while. We also set goals, things that the child would like to achieve. Now, this could be goals like, I want to stand up to the bully at school. That is my goal, and this is how I want to do it. So it can be a very specific goal. It can address specific behaviors that the child is aware of and that the child would like to work on. It can be goals that give the child a bit of guidance, a bit of direction, like what you've mentioned at the beginning, to help your child to guide and navigate through the challenges that they experience. So it can be specific goals, it can be one goal, it can be multiple goals. We also focus on building self-support, confidence, helping the child to develop the necessary coping skills that they need to overcome and to equip them, of course, with those skills they need to overcome their challenges. And we build their confidence, their self-esteem, and look at how do the child look at him or herself, and what can we build on, what can we work on to boost that confidence. And once the treatment goals or once the coaching goals have been achieved, we can then say, okay, we move on, we can terminate the coaching process. Now, I briefly want to talk to you about emotional awareness. Now, emotional awareness is crucial to the coaching process because, as we've mentioned, coaching helps a child to become aware of their emotions. What are they? How am I feeling? It helps them to build an emotional vocabulary. Without an emotional vocabulary or without a child having insight into what emotions are, they won't know how to deal with them. We as adults, when we are going through something challenging, we tend to talk about it. Children don't have the emotional vocabulary or the verbal capacity yet to express themselves. And that is why we need to work with kids to help them understand their emotions so that they can process it better, they can understand it better, and they can learn to self-regulate. Emotional awareness also helps a child to develop empathy, learn to identify emotions in themselves and others, and of course, self-regulation. So that is why it's very important to also include this in the child coaching process. Questions that I ask, I play different games with kids, and then questions that I could ask is in a more general way, what makes people feel angry or sad or scared? And then show me what your face looks like when you are sad or angry or scared. Tell me what happens to your body when you feel like this. And then bringing it more specifically to the child's own life. Have you ever felt like this before in your own life? And now the question again to you. You can write it in the chat box or you can unmute yourself, switch on your video. How do you cope? So please write down the coping strategies that you use when you are going through a difficult time. It can be anything, but please feel free to share what helps you. What plans do you make when you feel sad or when you are upset about something? How do you regulate your emotions? So please feel free to share the coping strategies that you use when you are going through a difficult time.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, you're turning on my video so you can see you talking to. Let's take a look. That happens. Oh, I don't know how that. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm so used to Teams. So for me, I think I consciously try and make I consciously try and see the positive side of things in whatever happens. So I believe that every issue sort of is either a learning curve or something. It doesn't just happen for the sake of happening. That's what I believe. But I also pray a lot. I don't know. I find a lot of strength. I draw a lot of strength in that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. It's wonderful, positive thinking, and like you said, also praying. It provides real comfort to you, and it gives you, a sense of, okay, I can deal with this. I feel stronger. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anybody else who would like to share what coping strategies they use?
Hey, I've just unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so for me, initially, I usually like to separate myself from all the stress. So I find myself taking very long walks, and in the process, I usually want to understand what is happening first, and I want to accept it, whether it's making me sad, it's making me cry. If I have to cry, I think there's no problem. I cry a lot, and I listen to a lot of music and sing on top of my voice. I
Yes.
can literally hear myself think. So that's one of my coping strategies. Yeah, I sing a lot. And also, if there's need for me to pray, I pray. But usually I separate myself from everybody so I can just think clearly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sort of taking a step back, looking at the situation, processing it, going through and experiencing all of the emotions, not suppressing it, but just experiencing it and let it do. If you need to cry about it. I think that's a good approach. And also, like you said, taking long walks and listening to music, singing, it's things that help you to deal and cope with the current situation. It's not going to change perhaps the bigger problem or the intensity thereof, but it just gives you extra tools that you can use to go through it and to get out on the other side. Thank you so much for sharing. If we look at coping skills for kids, coping skills, emotions, those are very difficult constructs for kids. It can be a difficult thing to understand. Okay, what is coping really? How does it work? What do I do? What options do I have? What choices do I have when I am going through something difficult? And that is why it's always good to have a visual way of explaining this to a child. And a resource that I purchased that is a wonderful resource to use is from Wholehearted School Counseling. They have beautiful images. Most of the images that I use are from Wholehearted School Counseling. It's a wonderful resource. But it's a visual way of educating a child, educating a child on constructs such as emotions or coping tools. So I want to take you briefly through this story, my coping tools to help me get through hard times. So this is a story that I could read to a child, go through with a child to help them to gain a bit of better understanding as to coping tools that they can use when they experience something challenging. Sometimes life can get really hard. All of us experience stress from time to time. Maybe you are dealing with something really challenging at home, maybe at school or with friends. Some days you might just feel blah or anxious and not even know why. This is when using healthy coping tools come in handy. I can use a coping tool. Coping tools are things you can do to manage stress and other uncomfortable feelings. Some coping tools like exercising and playing sports can help you to get rid of muscle tension and stress hormones called cortisol in your body. Coping tools like talking with someone you trust or asking for help can help you feel less alone, overwhelmed, confused, or anxious. Other coping tools, like taking slow, focused breaths, stretching and doing yoga, can relax and calm your body and mind. And then there are coping tools that can distract you from situations that you don't have much control over. These coping tools might be building something, playing a game, or listening to music. Coping tools may not take away the stressful things in your life, but they can help you to feel calmer. Then you can make thoughtful decisions about how best to respond to those challenges. Coping tools can help you feel stronger and more capable. And they are a way you can treat yourself with gentle, loving kindness. And these are some coping tools that I'd like to try. So this is just a visual way, like I mentioned, to help a child understand the construct of coping, what it means to cope, or what it means to employ a coping strategy. And you can show them the different options that they have. They can, read a good book or a magazine, or they can take a look at old photographs, or they can cuddle and play with their pets. They have different options. So when a child is experiencing something, they know that, okay, I can use different things. I don't always have to react in the same way, but let me try doing something else. And this is where the awareness comes in. You as a child coach help the child to become aware of the different options that they have, different ways to ground themselves, to help them deal with their emotions, and help them to comfort themselves in essence as well. So these are different things that you can then go through with and explore with the child and see, what are their preferences, what are their interests, what would they like to do and to use and to try out. Maybe they would like to do a stretching exercise, or the next time that they feel sad or upset about something, they would like to kick, bounce, or throw a ball. But it's just helping a child to discover that there are multiple options, multiple things that I can do, and to show it to them in a visual way. An activity that you can also then do with a child is to draw an outline of your hand, and in each finger write a coping tool that you would like to try. It's quite similar to the Mr. Sharp story, but it's a visual way of showing a child, okay, choose 5 things that you would like to try out. Every time you feel sad or mad, or when you experience a bit of stress, of course, by this time you have helped the child to gain a bit more awareness on emotions and to develop an emotional vocabulary, and help the child to identify what emotions are and how it feels in my body. That by the next time when a child says, when I'm stressed, it feels like there's butterflies in my tummy and I feel like my heart is pounding really quick, that child will think, okay, but there are 5 things that I can do to try and calm down, to try and ground myself, to try and go through this emotion that I'm experiencing and feel comforted at the end of it, to feel like I'm stronger, I can deal with this emotion. So this is something that I encourage kids to do during a coaching as well. We draw, we do an outline of our hand, and then I ask the kids to paste it up somewhere on your wall where you can see it, and look at these coping strategies every day. And sometimes when you go through something and you can't remember them, quickly run to that drawing and look at the 5 things that you can do to make yourself feel better, to make yourself feel happy again. So that's just a visual way of showing a child that they have more options than one. Things like grounding exercises is something that helps to ground a child. When they are very much stressed, it helps them to calm down, to soothe themselves, to regulate their emotions. A grounding exercise is usually something that involves the body, it involves the senses, it helps a child to make contact in the here and the now again. It gets them to refocus as well and to be present. For example, you can do a stretching exercise. You are a tree, and then do a stretching exercise where you feel the wind is blowing through the leaves of the tree and the branches are moving. Or a power hug that is focused more on creating a bit of tension when you squeeze yourself and then you let go and you feel the tension moving out of your body, and then you squeeze yourself again, and then you feel the tension leaving your body. Object focus, or maybe to fidget with something like a stress ball, for example. It's just something that can distract you and help you to relieve the tension as well. Something like hop like a frog. It's an active thing that a child can do. They exert a bit of energy. Fly like a bird, flapping your arms up and down. It's a way for a child to ground themselves, to become present and make contact in the here and the now. Psychoeducation is also something that we use during child coaching, of course, to help children understand their emotions, to help them gain more insight as to what it is and why they react the way that they do in a visual way. For example, understanding emotions or how to process emotions. Acknowledge an emotion, link the trigger, and let go by using, for example, a breathing exercise. So it's just a way of showing a child that this is what happens to your body or to your mind when you go through this. When you experience this emotion, and this is how we can deal with it. And this is a way to help you to cope better with it. Relaxation and breathing techniques are also very crucial when it comes to coaching. It helps for a child to calm down, to ground themselves, and of course to relax and to get rid of the stress that they are experiencing. And I want to invite you there where you are. At the moment, we are going to do a breathing exercise together. And now this breathing exercise is called the energy egg. Feel free to switch on your video and to participate. But how it works is, I'm going to show you. I'm going to just stand here. And then you can still see me. All right. So this breathing exercise, it's like when you inhale, the ball is going to the top. And when you exhale, you press down the ball. So without the ball, you can connect your hands like this. When you inhale, they are showing upwards, face up. And when you exhale, your hands and palms are facing upwards and moving down. So let's try together. Let's do 5 of these breathing exercises called the energy egg. So when we go in, we hold our breath for a little while, and we exhale, we push the ball down. We go in, we lift the ball up, and when we exhale, we push the ball down again. We inhale, and we push the ball down. Let's do it one more time. We inhale. And lastly, we push the ball down. All right, I hope you feel a bit more energized after that breathing exercise or that breathing technique. But it's very important to teach kids how to use this, how to get rid of the tension in their body, how to deal with the heart that is pounding like this and the stress that they experience, anxiety, how to calm themselves down again. It's very important to help children to understand that they can use this to help them cope with the emotion. Now I would like to invite you, or first of all, I'm going to explain what a vision board is, and then we are going to make our own vision boards. Now, a vision board is usually something that explores your dreams or your wishes that you might have. You can focus on one goal or a variety of goals. And questions that you can ask to a child when working with a child or to yourself: do you have goals that you would like to set for yourself? Is there something that you would like to have happen in your life? Are there special things that you would like to have? Or you can give a specific instruction like make a vision board on how you would like to deal with the situation when a bully is bothering you. So you can make a specific vision board with that topic. Now, how to make a vision board? You have paper, glue, scissors, multiple magazines or personal pictures. You can ask a child to bring that along to your session and you can make the vision board together. It's a way of processing, of thinking, of really, gaining a bit of awareness as to what are my dreams and wishes? What would I like to see happen in my life? Or it's a way to specifically and directly work on a specific problem and help a child to deal with that specific situation. So I would like you in the chat box, you can go to the following link. So the link will be posted in the chat box. And so you can go to this link. When you click on it, you are going to be directed to the page that I'm going to show you now. But the question is, the specific question that I want us to look at is, what are your goals for the rest of the year? So if you go to the link, it will direct you to Canva, which is an app that you can use to make a vision board. In this case, it's called a mood board, but it's a vision board that you can make just to set out visually your goals. So if you are directed to this page, you can then choose a template. If you click on it, it will appear on your screen. You can then move towards photos, for example, or you can look at different elements that you would like to include on your vision board, different shapes and different graphics that you can use. But if you look at photos, you can, for example, search something in the search bar, family example, and then when you find a picture that you would like to use, you can click on it, and then you can position it on your vision board where you like. And you can continue with this until you have added a couple of pictures, perhaps written a couple of words, or the mantra or the motto that we spoke about in the beginning. You can include that on your vision board as well. It's something that helps you to get a bit of guidance, a vision of your life, of your goals that you would like to achieve. So my question to you is, what are the goals that you have for the rest of the year? What would you like to achieve? So please feel free to go to this website, to go to this link, and to make your vision board. I'm going to give us about 7 minutes. And then after that, I would like to really invite you to share. Feel free to share your vision board and to share your screen. But so please follow the link in the chat box, and then you can start making your own vision board. And please feel free to also pose a question, or just to indicate if you're still following me. So please feel free to share. But let's take about 7 minutes to make our own vision board. Oh yes, and I would also just like to mention, once you have finished creating your vision board, you can then download it at the top. You can press on download and it will automatically start downloading. There's going to be a pop-up that appears, but you can just ignore that. And the download, as you can see, has then started. So you can just click that one away, and then you can open it, and you have a PDF saved on your vision board. Let's take about 2 more minutes for our vision boards, and then I'm going to invite someone to share. All right, I would like to invite anyone to share. Feel free to share if you want to tell us a bit more about your vision board. What are your goals for the rest of the year? Or if you would just like to share on the experience of creating a vision board like this. I've stopped sharing my screen, so I invite you to share your screen and show us your vision board if you like. So yes, I see a raised hand. Mwonga, please go ahead. I see you also reacted in the chat box. So please feel free to
Really
share.
fun. That was really fun. Maryke was really good. I haven't had a chance to really zoom in, but the minute you said that, I sort of knew exactly what I wanted to do. So for me, I'm concentrating on love, happiness, good health, and job success.
Mhm.
I gave up smoking at the beginning of this year. So it's 6 months in and I feel great. So I'm just hoping I end the year strong.
Yeah.
Good health. So that's where that comes in. So I'm hoping that I continue the trajectory and sort of work more relaxation exercises, yoga, meditation and stuff. Hopefully to seal the deal when it comes to love. Hopefully find the love of my life this year. Ladies, and if there's any gents out there, please, I'm single. And then happiness. And whatever happens, that I must end the year happy. And I think I've been truly blessed so far, and I just hope that it stays that way. And job success. I'm hoping to, I'm working very hard at improving myself professionally. So I just hope that this year, something good, and I move on to the next level. So that's me.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's,
for listening.
Like there's so much, to look forward to, and that you're growing and really just flourishing. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I encourage you, if you can print it out, paste it somewhere where you can see it and where it's visible. Indeed. And that you can remind yourself about it on a daily basis.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Anybody else who would like to share? Or just the experience of making it what you felt when you had to choose the different images and the thoughts that popped into your mind? All right, but thank you so much for taking part of this, and I encourage you to download it and to print it out if you can, and to put it somewhere where you can see it, and just continuously remind yourself, okay, this is my vision for the year, this is what I want to achieve. It gives a real sense of direction, and empowers you you know, and also gives you that opportunity to compliment yourself and to affirm, like what you have mentioned, Morga, you have stopped smoking. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful achievement. And then just to applaud that as well, and visual reminder that, okay, I'm strong enough, I can do this, I can work on this, and I am growing. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so moving on, I want to tell you about a technique that I also use when working with children. It's called the cool down box, or the cool down tools box, or a tool box. You can give it any name you like. It's just also something concrete and visual that you can use for a child to help them to self-regulate their emotions. Now, what is the goal of a cool down box? It's absolutely a practical way to show a child, okay, that I have different options when it comes to expressing my emotions. I have different options when it comes to coping and dealing with these emotions. So this is something that I would also do with the child after going through creating a bit of emotional awareness with the child about their emotions and their behaviors. We have practiced a bit different scenarios. For example, how do I share with others? How do I, react when my sibling is irritating me? How do I tell my sibling, I don't want to play with you right now, please leave me alone, I want to be alone? How do you do that? How do you express those emotions? So this is after the child has already developed a bit of insight into what emotions are and how to deal with them. A practical tool that they can use, something that can assist them when regulating their emotions, is this cool down box. So it can contain things like fidget objects, a stress ball, or a sensory ball, or a sensory bottle, which is something you can make by adding, filling a water bottle up with water and then adding a little bit of oil and throwing in different types of things into this bottle, for example, glitter or different things that you can include. You can be as creative as you like. And then when you take this bottle and you flip it up and down, it has this really this movement that it makes, or that the glitter in the bottle is moving up and down, and it's just really interesting to look at it. So that's a sensory bottle, for example. You can include things like an emotional poster, a poster about the different coping tools that you get, bubbles, breathing and grounding tools, cards that we looked at earlier. You can include things like paper and stationery, or have a little journal where you can write down your feelings, or you can write down your thoughts, or something where you can draw on, with crayons and pencils. Play-Doh is a very sensory, playful thing that you can play with, and it can help you to just relieve a bit of tension. It has that tactile and kinesthetic value to it, a musical instrument, different toys and games, and puzzles. So what is the instruction that you give to this child? Okay, when you feel a bit stressed, or when you are angry, or when you feel, I just feel a bit blah, or I feel a bit sad, what can you do? What plan can you make to feel a little bit better again? And then you can say, you can go to your cool down tools box, or to your cool down box, and do a couple of things, or use a couple of things in that box to help you to feel better again. So of course, in this box, you can then say, okay, first step would be to, and you can also make a visual poster with the different steps. Like step 1 is maybe to look at your emotions poster and identify the feeling. How are you feeling? Try to identify the specific feeling that you're experiencing at the moment. Step 2 could then be, maybe you can use your stress ball, or throw a dice and assign a specific number to the objects in your cool down box, and then choose if the dice falls on a 2. 2 is, for example, the Play-Doh. Play with the Play-Doh. You know, so you can really be creative when giving the instruction as to what to do next. But first step, of course, identify what you are feeling. And then you can also include a poster like, when I feel like this, I can do this. So you give a couple of suggestions. Like, when I feel very sad or disappointed, I can take a couple of deep breaths. Or, you know, I can treat myself and others with kindness. So you can maybe write a kind letter, or you can do a couple of breathing exercises. When I feel a bit anxious or stressed about something that is happening at school, or I have this big assignment that I need to submit, or I have to make a speech and I am very anxious about it, what can I do? You can maybe talk to someone about it, or you can maybe take a drink of cold water, take a walk. So it's really just suggestions of things that you can do, but it's a practical thing. It's a concrete thing that the child will have in their hand that they can use. They can either choose to do grounding exercises, or, like I said, writing about it, or drawing their feeling, or drawing what they want to do, or how they want to deal with this situation. Or they can just do things that help them to relax, like play with a musical instrument, or something that will distract them from the emotion that they are experiencing at the moment. But you can be as creative as you like and give specific instructions on to how to use this cool down box. Now, I would like to invite you to do another technique with me. And this one is focused on just boosting a child's confidence and help them to gain a better awareness of their sense of self. And you will find, or I find frequently, that a lot of kids find it difficult, especially when they have a low sense of self, or when they have low confidence, to give themselves a compliment. That can be very difficult at times. And that is why we need to encourage kids to be kind to themselves, to also give themselves positive messages, and to enforce and to really encourage positive self-talk, I statements, you know, inner child affirmations that you are worthy, you are strong. But to get the child to also frame it into an I statement: I am strong, I am kind, I am compassionate. And that is very important, that we help kids to learn how to do that. But so I want to invite you now to draw yourself using the outline of a gingerbread man, or a gingerbread woman, or a gingerbread boy, or a gingerbread girl, but to draw yourself using the outline of a gingerbread man. And I want you to decorate your picture. You can color it, you can, you know, draw in whatever you want to draw in. And I want to challenge you to write down 5 compliments for yourself, starting with an I statement, like I am friendly, I am creative, I am compassionate, but you write that on your picture as well. So you can take your time. Let's take about 5 minutes, and you can draw your picture. And afterwards, there's also opportunity to share the experience of drawing. So please feel free to draw yourself as a gingerbread man. Let's take about 2 more minutes. All right. Is there somebody who would like to share their gingerbread drawing? You can switch on your video, you can show us your drawing, or you can just share about your experience, how it felt to do the drawing, how it felt to identify compliments. Was it easy? Did you find it a bit difficult? Please feel free to share.
Maryke, I can share mine.
Yes,
I don't know if I don't know if you're able to see my drawing, my gingerbread girl.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5 compliments that I put: I am confident, I am unique, I am compassionate, I am intelligent, and I am friendly. So those were my 5. It was a bit difficult in the beginning to think of compliments because I'm not used to giving yourself compliments, and now I'm there to think, oh, what have I heard people say about me? But then eventually when I started writing, I was like, oh, maybe I should add this as well. Maybe I should add this as well. So I think it got better the more I wrote.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's really, when I did it as well, I found it very difficult. But once you get going, you do realize that, okay, there's a couple of things that you can write. And it's good to encourage kids to say it in the I statement form as well. You know, I am strong, I am kind. And it really empowers them with that message. And if you can put it up against a wall where they can see it, they can look at it daily, you know, they can start practicing giving themselves these positive affirmations and compliments. Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing, Lauren. And I also see in the chat box that you made some comments. Yes, it's a wonderful exercise. It is quite soothing, you know, being creatively involved in the drawing process, but then also having to think about something, you know, reflecting and trying to get to a place where you can access, you know, compliments, or that you can get to a place where you can really confidently give yourself a compliment, and to nurture yourself with that as well. So thank you so much for sharing your gingerbread drawing, Lauren, and for the comments in the chat box. I would like to just mention what you can expect when you take your child to child coaching. So, of course, first of all, the coach would always have a intake with the parents, where you will get a bit of background information as to the current issues that the child is experiencing, what the parents are experiencing, some of the social, emotional, and behavioral things that lead to creating the question to have support. So the coach will then get a bit of background information, and it will really help the coach to also get a better picture of the situation and to do a bit of planning as well. So that usually happens before the coaching commences. And during this intake, the parents will also have the opportunity, to share their concerns, or if they have any expectations or questions. And you will just together explore the psychosocial functioning and development of the child. After that, the coaching commences, and then of course the first sessions are just focused on building relationship, building rapport with the child, gaining the child's trust as well, and having the child feel safe within this room, this setting. It's safe. I can be myself. I can share my thoughts and my feelings. Me as the coach, I see you, I hear you, I acknowledge you, and you can show me, and you can even show me more, to create that safe environment for the child where they can express themselves. During the coaching sessions, we will make use of different play-based techniques and activities like fantasy, role-playing, projection, stories, creative play. We will look at psychoeducation involving things like the coping tools. What are they? Emotions, emotional awareness. And the parents also serve as partners during this process, because much of the progress we will make with coaching in the playroom, of course, needs to be practiced at home as well, and in different settings at school, or when engaging with friends online, for example. So the parents also need to be actively involved. And after the coaching, after we have reached all of the goals that we would like to have reached, then there's obviously a parenting support aspect to the coaching process as well, where I, as the coach, provide feedback to the parents, give a bit of insight into the child's functioning, the child's temperament type, what I observed during the coaching process, what we worked on, what did we achieve, and some of the improvements or things that I noticed during the process. I will relay that back to the parents, and also, just support the parents and help them to gain a better understanding of their child and their child's behavior, and of course address any needs that come forth from that session as well, the parenting support. So child coaching can take up to anything from 6 sessions to 8 sessions. The coach continuously evaluates. More sessions can also be recommended. But so it's important that there's always a working relationship with the parents. The parents are very much involved as well when it comes to supporting the child, and when it comes to sharing, the experiences at home and the progress that they see, and also the coach engaging with the parents on a regular basis to provide feedback as to how it is going. How to prepare the child when they go to child coaching is to tell them that they will go and see someone. They will visit them once a week for 45 minutes, and they will play a lot of games, and they will do different things like play with clay, do drawing, play with puppets or with a dollhouse. They will do many different things, and the child can choose what they would like to play with. And during this time, this person, this lady or this gentleman, will help you to learn more things about yourself, to learn more about your emotions, what they are, how they feel, how you can deal with them, and they will help you to feel better and learn more about yourself. You can keep it as short and sweet as possible, and also related to the child's level of development. and keeping the message relevant. You don't have to provide too much information because the child will also have questions and they can state those questions during the sessions as well. But just to give a general idea that you're going to see someone, you're going to play a lot of things and learn more about yourself. All right, now I would like to end my presentation with one last activity, and I want to invite you to stand up where you are, stand up from your chair in the room that you are. I want you to focus on the power pose. Now, how it works is we are going to do two things. I'm going to switch on my video again, and hopefully you can see me moving around in the room. Right, so we are going to practice the power pose. Now, the power pose is a pose that gives us confidence. It makes us feel strong. So feel free if you want to switch on your video, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can just do it in the room where you are if you are able. But so we are going to do two things. First of all, we are going to do the anxious and the timid pose. So that is really one where you feel like your body posture is stooping, you feel a bit distraught, your eyes are low, you have, darting around, you have a lot of tension in your shoulders. It's a pose where you don't really feel that stable, that strong. And so there's a lot of tension in your body, and you can feel like your head is also dipping below. And so I want you just to take a round in the room, just to walk around in this room, having this anxious, sort of full of tension pose and posture. So I want you just to take a turn around the room, walking with this posture, and experience and feel how it feels. So just take a moment. So just take a moment to experience what your body feels, how it feels to walk around with this pose and this posture. All right. And now I want you to do the power pose. So the power pose is the opposite of the tensed pose. So the power pose is one where your eyes are looking forward, you're present, you're making contact with your environment, with your immediate surroundings. Your hands can be on your hips or it can be by your sides, but it's a pose where your shoulders are not heavy, it's not dragging down, but it's rather a stronger pose and you feel more stable. Your legs are open, grounded, you have a grounded stance. It's a lot more firm and planted. So I want you to take a stroll through the room and I want you to walk with the power pose and just experience the feeling and what happens to your body when you have this power open stance pose. So just take a moment to walk through the room and experience it. Just take a stroll through the room and try to be conscious of what you are experiencing. Wow, there's such a big difference between the two poses. I instantly felt it. Having the very stooped down low tension in your shoulders, it just felt so heavy. And then doing the power pose, it just felt totally different. It felt so much stronger and firm, and I felt so much more confident walking around with that pose. Does anybody else, would anybody else like to share what they experienced when they did this power pose and then the very tensed, anxious pose? I really want to encourage you this week as well, wherever you are, when you are entering a room or entering a social setting, or wherever you are, just interfacing with colleagues or at home with your family. I want you to really practice the power pose. And I want you to be mindful and conscious on how you feel when you have this pose, as opposed to the very tense and timid body posture. I want you to focus on the power pose and just feel the confidence coming, and that you feel, okay, I'm strong. I feel that I'm in balance. I can take this head on. So I really want to encourage you to do the pose. All right. Now there's opportunity. If you have questions, if you have any feedback, if you want to share some thoughts, please feel free to do so in the chat box, or to unmute yourself and just share your what you would like to share. So please feel free to interact. Yes, Mwonga, I see you've raised a hand.
I just want to say thank you so much. I really needed this. I've had a hectic morning, about to get into a hectic afternoon, and it's been a hectic week. So I really need this, and I agree with Dina Hani. I do feel lighter and happy as well. Thank you so much. It was really great. And yeah, we'll definitely practice some child coaching skills on my Baba. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, really and truly.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for participating. And I agree, like with Dina Hani said, you feel light, you feel happier, you feel stronger. Yes, so try this pose. And yes, thank you very much for sharing and for participating. And I hope that this will encourage you for the week to come and the afternoon to come. So thank you very much. Anybody else who would like to share or just reflect or have any questions?
Maryke, just a quick question around the activities that you do in the session with the children or with the child. For example, the poster that we had done, do you give the child immediately after the session, or is it after all the sessions have been completed, or do the children take their artwork, whatever they've done, after each session?
So with child coaching, it's a lot of the things that we do, or a lot of the worksheets or posters that we make, is really for the child to take along to home, because I encourage them to paste it up somewhere where they can see it. If it is something like name 5 things that you can do in this situation, or for example, the drawing of Mr. Sharp with the different emotion faces on it. It's something that it's a tool that the child can use at home as well, a visual reminder, and that's why so those drawings they can take along to home with them. If the child feels that they don't want to take the drawing with, that is fine. I will then keep it with me, and we can revisit it during the next session or look at it again. But it's also the child's choice. But I do encourage the kids, like if we did something like what are the 5 coping skills that you can use when we did the outline of the hand, when we did the gingerbread man, for example, to take that home, look at it often, or put it somewhere that you can see it and that you can practice those statements as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Anybody else?
A quick question, another one. Do you ever do sessions with the parents in there, or is it always just you and the child?
So usually it's just me and the child. There can be instances where you would want to work on the child-parent relationship. And that is usually when you will include the parents in the session. But that's then more focused on, yes, doing a bit of bonding activities together, focus on working on attachment. And that would be something that you would do in play therapy. But with the child coaching, You can involve the parents if the child consents to do that and if the child wants to do that, but it's not. It's more working with the coach and the child. And if the child wants to include the parents, we can do that. Of course, after each session, I do give a bit of feedback to the parents to say, okay, this is what we did. If they have any homework, this is what they should do. And of course, I have my session with the parents, giving parenting support. So that is usually when I relay and give a bit of information and give a bit of feedback. But yes, if there's something specifically that you would like to work on, perhaps where you need to involve the parent or where the child feels that it's crucial to involve mom or dad in this, you can. But it's mainly just more of a setting where you work with the child and then give a bit of feedback after the session. And if they need to do homework, to just give that instruction as well. All right, thank you so much for sharing, everybody. Please feel free to share any feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Next week, we will talk about parenting support next week, Thursday, same time. The registration details will be circulated. You can sign up for it again like you did for this session. And there's also a discussion on play therapy that I did a couple of weeks ago. It's also on the Facebook page. So feel free to revisit that as well. I see we have 2 raised hands. Let me just get to my chat box. All right. Oh, okay. You can share if you like. You can unmute and share. Esther, would you like to start?
Okay, all right, thank you. So I was wondering if there's a possibility that you can share your slides. I didn't follow through because I joined the meeting late.
Oh, okay. It is possible. However, for copyright reasons, I might have to take out some of the information or some of the images. But yes, I can share. You can send me an email and then I can share with you, if you don't mind.
Okay, so would you share your email? Sorry, I didn't take note of it.
Yes, yes. So it is on the screen. So you can send me an email and then I can send you the slides. Yes, Munga, you also had your hand raised?
I think it was an old hand. So thank you.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yes, I look forward to hopefully seeing you again. And yes, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Have a lovely afternoon. And yes, we'll see each other hopefully again. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.